Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. The episode is starting. I am squeezing in on time. How are you all doing today? Let's run a prediction. Commercial by 513. I assume we're setting Burger Bros up in order to explain Will's vote, in order to explain why Will's in a little bit of trouble. Here is, by the way, where I am.
Vote to evict Zay.
Zay. Zay.
I do have food again. I apologize. A BB break-in. Esther, thank you for the 300 bits. Yeah, it seems like the prediction is, people have been having trouble with the predictions lately. I don't know why. Somebody might have been asking, am I talking about feeds here? If that is the question that was asked, yes. All right, Rachel. We did already hear the line. I mean, I'm going to say again, you know, it didn't backfire in the sense that Kelly wasn't evicted, but only because she won the blockbuster. And she did not gain anything from taking that risk. Can I still trust him? Can I still trust Jimmy, who put him on the block this week? Riley, you told everybody that they had your vote. Parker, thank you for the 3 months in advance. You have to protect me. Meanwhile, they've been trying to get him on the block this week. Doing people favors is not really worthwhile in the game most of the time. It's Kirby, thank you for the 20th. All right, will we finally get Will? Yeah, so thank you for gifting a sub. You can always trust Keanu to have the exact wrong read. Keanu is more accurate than a lie detector as long as you choose the opposite of what he thinks. And I'm annoyed we missed all of this. Adrian, this is the side you chose, bro. I'm annoyed that we don't have the explanation for why he voted that way in the first place. Being thanked with the 56th. They're playing this like Will's just full on burger, bro. And that's just it. Which is honestly not what I expected. Long first segment. All right, there we go. It is, in fact, a no. Next prediction. Is the HOH winner revealed in the next segment? Is the HOH winner revealed in the next segment? So yes, this does help explain, at least in my opinion, a bit more of why Keanu is so anti-Will. And by explain, I mean explain the nonsense behind it. It has been a bit confusing. So it seems as though Keanu suspects that Will flipped his vote and voted with the women. He is mad at Will for this. So, in his mind, he believes, I see what you're doing, Will. I'm going to beat you at your own game. And because he believes that Will is the one that flipped, he thinks that he can swap his vote with Will's and say, actually, I'm the one that voted with the women. Will voted to evict Amy. And what he doesn't seem to have understood yet is that everybody already knows that Will voted to evict Amy. But Keanu believes that he didn't, and that everyone should basically know that. And so Keanu's trying to say that Will is lying about voting to keep Amy when Will has never said that. It's, oh boy. And he feels anger toward Will because he believes that Will flipped on them. Okay, we're back. We're back. There's so many things. I don't think there's enough time in Keanu's exit interview for me to explain all the things he was wrong about. Nor would he believe me for that matter. All right, let me change my Twitch schedule. I apologize to those that actually look at it. Riley lacks so much enthusiasm in the diary room. All right, schedule is updated on Twitch. The way they pulled it out. Thank you, Noah. Adrian, you didn't practice this comp? Oh, okay, that's what this was what Lauren was telling the hourglass story. And do you think the subscription welcome to the Robot Army? So that was the real one? Or is Jimmy gonna? Because that one didn't look correct either. The one that she put away. This one looks correct. It's got the ridges. Oh, she had a power. Are we sure? It looked like just a fake key to me. So the answer is it was highlighted. That is correct. No, we did not see the HOH winner revealed. um. And what even could be the next prediction at this point? Ava DR, we could do that. Any other Ava DRs? Oh, we could do the will injury, yeah. Do we see the will injury? Let's just do Ava DR. It's going to be simpler. Because, like, what if we see Will, like, get kind of hurt, but they don't make a big deal of it? And it's like, well, is that it? Or are we going to see more later? Um, yeah, not much to say about the competition. Pretty much exactly, I think, what we expected. I do think Jimmy had a good strategy, like on his hands and knees, as opposed to like just walking around. I guess luckily for Keanu, despite walking around, there was one just literally just lying there. Yo, so thank you for the 65th. I appreciate that. Doug, thank you for the 34th. We also we got a story. I think it was Riley who tried to like grab something from Lauren. Or back. Oh, you might be right. Yeah, that might have been a power that Rachel had. Does look like it was roughly that shape. Yeah. It was the overthrow power. Does Keanu not like Keanu and Zach are hand in hand? That's not a good strategy. Keanu should just be searching independently, looking for powers to give to Zach. Because it's two people searching. If they're both together, they're less likely to find anything, and it's going to take them longer. Camden, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube. Oh, this is why Zach. This is why Zach was suspicious of Mickey. Wow, that was very obvious. Yeah, no wonder why he suspects Mickey. I'm surprised he doesn't just straight up know it's Mickey. Don't accelerate too much. Punching the air in the pitch black. Do I think who do I think could be an all-star from this cast? Honestly, I don't think anybody fully stands out yet. Ava could be if she lasts long enough and makes enough of an impact, but I do think that she's man, the way that they won the powers is super not secret. If you were required to leave after you won a power, it would have made it even more obvious who won powers. I don't know about that, Rachel. That's a no for Ava. Next prediction. HOH room reveal? Yes, no? Do we get an HOH room in the next segment? Rachel's not in danger, but her saying that Jimmy is going to go after people that are coming after her is very much not the case. Jimmy put Kelly up because he wanted to flush the power. This is a regular sized episode, so this will end at 6 my time. Happy birthday, Ash. I mean, like, he sort of mentioned this, but like the idea of him helping her win the power is like she was basically there. She would have gotten it regardless. Him helping was it like saved her like 10 seconds. Maybe there's a world where he could have tried to block it and been like, "Oh, nope, nothing's here." And then, maybe she puts it away or something, but like that's just a bit over the top. So obviously, like in that spot, you might as well just help her out and hope that it wins you any amount of goodwill. McKenna, thank you for the 37th. Yeah, I mean, hanging out there was a good idea. Again, though, theoretically, he could have kept searching and found the power himself to give to an ally. Yeah, Keanu, you've squashed the beef. You've squashed the beef. That's a one-way ticket to Block City. Keanu, by the way, is going around saying, I won the veto this week. Not even Vinny, not even Riley. He's just such in his own world, man. Block City again. Was that the same clip? It did sound. It did sound like the same cadence. That was such a good transition to Mickey's power. Why are we doing Kelly's? Brando, I think the 24th. Oh boy. Oh, Mickey told Morgan before she knew what it was. Then she found out what it was and was locked in, had to reveal the rest of it. She just said to Morgan, I don't know what it is yet. I'll say it again. I think it's the best version of this. Okay. No HOH room reveal. At this point, it doesn't seem like we're going to get one. Let's do it though. Let's run it back. Morgan did warn Mickey that Zach suspected her in that very conversation. She said that she tried to divert away from her though. So at this point, there are a lot of people that suspect Mickey might have the power. Zach is included in that group. Ashley is included in that group. And they are kind of spreading that information. So that doesn't mean that it's dead in the water, because you can you can feel confident, but then when it comes down to it, especially honestly, like the interrogations, I think, are more likely to cause the HOH to guess incorrectly than anything else, than helping at all. I think that if you asked any given HOH to guess who is trying to overthrow them with the third power, many of them would have Mickey in their top 3, if not their top guess. However, once they interrogate people for 3 minutes each, they're going to be inundated with a bunch of useless information. Like is this person lying to me? What did they say about this? And honestly, it probably will not be very helpful, but it might trick them into overvaluing the information they get from the interrogations and then doubt the initial guesses that they might have made. Pollyanna, thank you for the 69th month. Yes. So one of the first thoughts, obviously, is like Morgan could pretend that she has it. However, if you are thinking correctly, obviously you might think, well, if Morgan is acting like she has it or saying that she has it, she must not have it. She must be covering for, who was a top suspect? Mickey. I think perhaps a better method would be if there's an HOH that you want to overthrow, enlist the help of more people, which is adding risk for sure. But, you know, if, say, Keanu is HOH and you want to overthrow his HOH, enlist the help of Rachel. Enlist the help of, players like that who will for sure want to overthrow that HOH. We're back. What you could also do if Kelly's willing, or if Morgan is willing, is have Morgan privately tell players like Zach or Rachel that she has the power and have her enlist their help just to provide an extra layer of defense. But that, of course, does imply that you don't trust them very much or as much. Yeah, you can lie about having a power. You can claim to have a power that you don't. As long as you're not doing so in a way that is intentionally trying to use production as a strategy. Basically, like, you can't lie about what a power does because you can be confirmed to have a power and only you would know what it does. And so you can't just make anything up. But if you lie about having an existing power, that's fine. No HOH room reveal. Final DR. Jimmy. Adrian. Kelly. Keanu. Rachel. Mickey. And we'll just do other. Yeah, so the rule is not necessarily specifically that you can't lie about what your power does. That is included in the more sort of umbrella rule that is you can't use production as a strategy. And the reason why lying about what a power does is using production as a strategy is what I said before, that like because you are the only one told what the power does, you can theoretically make up whatever it does, and nobody can combat that. It's not fair to the other players because they weren't told the rules of that information, basically. Um, so similarly, you wouldn't be able to use that rule as strategy either. So, for instance, if you wanted to confirm that somebody didn't have a power, you might think, oh, well, you should tell me that you have a power that grants you immunity until the final five. And if you do have a power, then you'd be lying about what your power does, and therefore you'd be told off by production. And therefore, if you're not told off by production, I know you don't have a power. Um, that also would not work. I mean, first of all, you wouldn't necessarily know whether or not they were told off by production. But also, that would be trying to use the rules of production as a strategy, which is again against the rules. Um, so that's why, like, if there is an existing power that you know about that is confirmed to be a true power, somebody told you about it, um, then you can lie about having that power. You can also lie about having any vague power. Um, it's just that if you don't have a power and you lie about having one, and you make up whatever that power is, then that's theoretically fine because it is provable within the context of the game that you don't have that power. Because if it is confirmed that three other people have powers, that means, wait a minute, you were lying about having your power, or whatever your power is. All right, we are back. What are these outfits? Man, back in the day, they used to do the HOH nominations in bathrobes, but that was because they were just actually wearing bathrobes and like not dressed up. Did we even get in the episode that Keanu lied about his vote? Okay, so they cut Rachel's laugh at the speech earlier in the ceremony to make it seem like Rachel laughed at him just being nominated. Thank you, Adrian. Keanu, you can't even back up your own diary rooms. You were walking around today talking about how you're fine with Jimmy again and still blaming Rachel for everything. Keanu was in fact the final diary room. I will say I feel like they didn't have a ton of material to work with for this episode, so I'm actually not too down on the episode. This was there's definitely the slowest period of time in the house so far because the nominations were so easy. I thought the comp was actually not that bad to watch. I mean, we got the like Will Keanu drama. I think we just spent, unfortunately, a necessarily long amount of time on all the powers that should have been spent on Keanu lying about his vote and stuff like that. But what are you gonna do? That is the episode, though. Hopefully, you enjoyed hanging out here with me. I will be live on the podcast very shortly. Yeah, we also found out why Zach suspects Mickey. Yeah, you know what? It was the fact that they had like name tags in the comp that was super key to helping make that more watchable. Um, Wednesdays are usually my day off, and Sundays, yes, are Rob's normal day off. I don't know if I think Rob actually will be on this Sunday. I think because he's taking some time off next week. Um, but yes, we will be on the podcast soon. Of course, check out my book if you haven't. Right here, it's the same one as the graphic right here. TaranArmstrong.com to pre-order. I know some of you haven't. Watching you. All right, that's what we got. Head over to the podcast. We'll hang out over there, and then I'll be live tomorrow in the morning. I'll explain to you tomorrow morning what drama Keanu and Rachel got into today. All right. See you later.